we have bigger goals and aspirations, and not that we're getting greedy, but we want to win a World Series.
Well, Cal, we're back. Season 2 of the Cal Raleigh Show.
That's right.
You know what you got yourself into.
The sequel.
The sequel. Here we are at the stadium right now, and you say the sequel, and it feels like it was yesterday, the last time we were in this building. It is crazy how fast things go in the off season and in spring training. I'm always just fascinated to know how you guys go from 80 to 105 degrees, day games. You come up here and it's like a switch is flipped. And
yeah.
Opening day can be a little bit different, but the next day it feels like it'd be almost any day in the season. What's that experience like for you starting up a season?
Yeah, I think, turning the page and knowing that, each season's different and it's not the same as it was last year, and knowing that we're going to have new challenges, new opportunities lying ahead. And I think in the meantime, you just, like I said, you turn the page and you appreciate what last season was and the ups and downs, and know that this year is going to be a whole new set of those. So, we're really looking forward to it. We're glad to be back.
Opening night, you and Logan have to do all the work when everything is going on in the celebrations, but we don't do this very often. There's a new banner up there. Did you have a chance to take a second and look at that, or take in? And it's kind of, you can shut the door after that, but it's up there. Did you take that in at all on opening night?
No, not really. I was just getting ready to catch Logan. So, but yeah, I think it's, it doesn't have to be opening night, but it's just a reminder of, fun times that we had together, and knowing that we created some memories that will last a long time in this organization. And hopefully that's something that, we can look at one day and be happy with where we got to, and hopefully we see another bigger, better banner there here shortly. So,
is it going to make it easier to be happy with that if you go the distance and do what you want to do, or are you happy with that right now?
No, I mean, we want to win a World Series, so that's great. I mean, like I said, we were, doing something that has been done in 20 years, going the furthest, this organization's ever gone. Those are nothing to scoff at by any means. Those are really awesome things that we did, but at the same time, knowing that we have bigger goals and aspirations, and not that we're getting greedy, but we want to win a World Series, and we want to do something that's never been done here. So just knowing that, and that's the final end goal, and that's okay. That's what it is. So we're excited about what is to kind of lie ahead.
Tell me about this group. You spent time with them down in spring training, got a couple of games under your belt already this season. What's different about the 2026 Mariners?
Sitting here 5 games in, I think just seeing how deep we are, I think we're a super deep team top to bottom. Even in the bullpen, it feels like everything's just longer. Just seems like we have, a longer, deeper team. And I think that's, obviously it's early in the year, and, it's still early. We're still forming our team, and I don't think that, your team's never defined in the first, week or so of the season, as you know. And so we have there's a lot of work to do, and there's a lot more behind the scenes that's going to go on, and guys are going to get in their grooves and find their niche, and how they're going to help this team. And guys are still doing that, but like I said, I feel like this team right now is very deep, and probably the deepest we've had since I've been here in the last few years. So it's fun to see, and you're seeing it right now. Contributions from the bottom of the order all the way to even the guys at the top who are maybe not contributing the way they usually are used to, but that's kind of what this whole thing's about. Creating a team that can do it in different ways, that can lengthen the game and give you problems from top to bottom.
What did that sound like in the hitting cages? You guys spend so much time in the cages in spring training, and there's a lot of talking going on. Are y'all speaking the same language with the new additions? Is there talk and questions to them? What is that like when that all comes together in the spring?
I mean, you're really just getting to know the guys. I mean, you gotta, figure out, where they're from. Do they have family? What do they like? And then, it doesn't just happen in, 6 weeks. It takes time, and it takes time over the season. So, like I said, there will be new things that are going on. It's not the same. Like I said, it's not the same team as last year. There's not going to be the same, language. There's not going to be the same type of team. There's not going to be the same inside jokes or things going on in the clubhouse. But like you said, we've established a good culture here, and I think that those guys are fitting in really well, and also bringing in some new things that are benefits to this club. And at the same time, we're going to kind of mesh that and make it into our own 2026 Mariners team. And there's some guys here that have done a great job already of that so far.
What are you excited about when you look at the pitching?
I think it was a great, first time through the rotation so far. I mean, you look at all the guys, I'm pretty sure they all went about 6 innings. So, they all threw the ball really well, and we know what they're capable of. To me, it's about staying healthy, staying consistent. And, I think the bullpen's done an extremely good job too. So there's not really a whole lot to be critical of at this moment with them.
It was so funny in talking with Pete Woodworth this spring. He said, we're accustomed to the pitchers coming up with new pitches in the offseason. He said, no, it's different this year. It's focus on what makes you good. You've got all the pitches. And we're like, oh, okay, that's what they're doing. And then all of a sudden, there's the cutter. Seeing more of the change up here. You're starting to see all of that. I don't know if they can't help themselves or it's just always getting better. But some of those new pitches, like Logan, used that pitch, the cutter, quite a bit in the first outing. Why do you call that so much in the first outing?
Well, I mean, I think in the past, they've done these things and they haven't really deployed them in the sense of, trusting it and going out there and seeing where they're at. And he went out in spring training and, proved that, those pitches were good pitches to some good hitters. And to me, you just can't be scared. You can't be scared to, go into the game, questioning or not knowing, because, at the same time, he knows what he's good at. He knows what he can do. It's just about growing and ultimately evolving into a certain kind of pitcher and player. And, I thought he did a really good job with those pitches the other day.
It's really funny. I think it was 2 years ago. I don't think it was 3. I think it was probably 2 years ago. I think George had a new pitch, and it wasn't one that maybe you knew about. And I can't even remember what it was. But you said, well, if he hasn't, I'm going to call it. You have that. I mean, if they're working on him, you are going to call it. You're going to see what it is. That's kind of something that you've done consistently.
Yeah, I mean, the focus of, being able to mix and keep hitters off balance is an important thing. And as these guys evolve, hitters evolve too, and they understand scouting reports, and it's important to keep them off balance. And like I said, if guys are comfortable and confident in what they're doing, which they all are, then I'm all for mixing it up and trying to keep hitters off balance in the game, because I know it's really hard to hit, and especially when guys are becoming new types of pitchers and creating new stuff.
New type of pitcher. How different is Emerson Hancock with that sweeper?
Yeah, I think give him credit for going a whole offseason committing to what he was trying to do. I kind of saw him evolving a little bit last year in that role in the bullpen, and he was trying new stuff out. I know he had some ups and downs, and he's trying to figure out what's his thing in this game, and it's hard when you're at that point. And by no means is he a finished product, but he came out and trusted his work in the offseason and spring training, had a good spring, and came out here the other day and really trusted what he was doing, and just took some reps and took some confidence, and he like I said, it's one outing. It was a good outing, but I like where his head's at and where his stuff's at. It's been really good so far. You
so believe in length of season. How do you explain length? I think you have a little bit, but how do you break down season? And there are different parts of it, and there's a sum of the parts, and What does that mean to you, length of season?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a long season, and it's a hard game. You know, you're never, you know, things are so much different in March than they are in August, and you know, ultimately it is a marathon, but the way that we kind of like to preach it here is, you know, try to win that one game at a time. You know, take it one day at a time, and then, you know, see where you get the next day. But ultimately you can't stress over a couple games, and the good or the bad. I think, you know, people will read into the bad a lot, and they'll read into the good. And I think if you just, you know, kind of stay away from both of those things and try to be the most consistent player you are, then ultimately you'll be where you want to be at the end of the season. So
I think that's a great place to finish.
Yeah.
I think next week we're going to get into your gear a little bit. We've had a lot of questions about that. So you let us in your locker to grab that?
Of course. Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you, Cal.